So this is the podcast with Reid. This guy, I don't know how to explain this. What's the right terminology? He's not what you think he's going to get from him. I'm so grateful of this podcast. It's exactly what I needed today. I think if you run a business, I think if you have a team, I think if you've got a franchise or a franchisor, you're thinking about it, this podcast would be great for you to just get to the nitty gritty of what could be challenges, what you're going to face, leaving a corporate job, buying another franchise, understanding what it's like to have a partner in business and taking your family along for the journey. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. I've been really selfish with this one. Thanks for listening.
So we are live in 3, 2, 1, action.
Okay, so it's another podcast episode, and what I love about these podcasts is that I get the energy of people, and I go to lots of different events and meet different people and shake their hands, and I'm like, cool, I like this person, and Ed's one of them. So I'm not going to introduce you because I don't exactly know completely what you do, but if you could just introduce yourself, please.
Of course. So I'm Ed. I'm MD of the Alternative Board. Shall I tell you a little bit about what we do?
Yeah, please. You just imagine no one knows what you are and what you do.
Yeah, cool. Many people don't. So we exist to make the lives of business owners better. And the way we do that is by coaching them, but also putting them in front of other people like them, other business owners who know what it's like to have all of the ups and downs of running a business. And because we run these peer advisory boards where you get different business owners sat around the table, they know they're talking to people who they can trust, who they feel empathy with, and who they can therefore be really honest with. And if they are, and they're really talking about the difficult stuff that they've got going on, then they're really likely to get great solutions from those other people around the table as well. Yeah. So the groups that form, the bond is unbelievable, and it becomes their safe space, basically. So, what we do in terms of bringing those groups together and working with those business owners is, honestly, this sounds like horribly cheesy, but it's a real privilege because you see them growing and, kind of successfully juggling all of the stuff that they've got to juggle like we do.
Yeah, isn't that? I guess it's very much like a franchise. Our franchisee meetings, we have a conference we're committed to the end of last year doing one every 2 months.
Right.
So we've been doing them every 2 months. Our next one's next month, and the magic that's created in the room by other business owners sharing. Yeah. And once you create a safe space and you start to trust each other, the real tasty stuff starts to come out. Totally. And I think that's where the learning comes in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah. So I think I counted it because someone asked me to last year how many of those meetings I've sat in. So we do the same with our franchisees. Yeah. And I reckon it's about 1,200.
Wow.
Which if you think that's 1,200 times 5 or 6 topics each meeting. That's a hell of a lot of different stuff that you've heard.
Do you have a video on any of it?
No. It's a good point, but there's I think it would possibly spoil it.
Yeah, break trust a little bit. Yeah, I get that.
People would just be a bit conscious of it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to capture people going into the room and coming out the room, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Honestly, it's our single biggest challenge as a brand is how we give people that who haven't experienced it, how we convey that feeling to them. Yeah. And until they've actually been in the room, you can't get it.
We try and capture that by doing exactly that. Talk to them about what they expect from the day. Yeah. And then capture them at the end of the day or capture them through the middle of the day.
Yes. Yeah.
And if they're willing to share, then they will do. Also quite cool to have 2 people from the same business as well, and they kind of have a mini podcast clip.
Okay.
That's quite a cool way.
Yeah, that's nice.
Maybe the business owner, the salesperson, kind of capturing that's quite a cool piece.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Take that away.
Yeah, well, it's hard, isn't it? But you have to be kind of like a bit of a storyteller, don't you?
You do, totally. Yeah.
Okay, now I've got the boring bit out of the way. How did you end up getting into something like that? See, so you're delving right into something that I like. love the coaching aspect, obviously franchising,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it. I've not got the coaching qualification, but I definitely know how to work my way around a business.
Yeah.
And I know how to manage a team, and I know how to lead a team. I'm not really good at management. I'm definitely good at the leadership part of it. The management bit, I'm pretty shit at. How did you get yourself in that position? Like, how did that start?
Oh,
I know it's gonna. I can tell I'm gonna go long back.
yeah. So, I mean, the short answer
I've
is...
seen on your LinkedIn you've got a degree.
I have.
So did it start from there? Did
No.
you always wanted to?
No, not at all. So I spent the early part of my career, most of it in FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods. So I worked for a big booze company, Diageo.
FMCG, is that what it stands for?
Yeah,
What? Say it again.
fast-moving consumer goods.
I've always wondered what it meant.
Yeah, like booze and chocolate and biscuits and
okay.
all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't start there. I started in British Steel actually, which was very different. Then had if you're really bored, I could tell you about a big, like throw my teddy out of the pram moment where I needed to go and do something else. So I
Yeah,
did.
well, no, that we're gonna have to definitely cover that bit.
Now,
Yeah.
okay. So I was on. This was in what my wife would call my arrogant days. I'd still call them my confident days, but she's right. Which is embarrassing already. And so I was on a bit of a career path
With this steel
with
company?
with British Steel.
Yeah.
And I'd had a really exciting move from their London head office to Scunthorpe. So that was a win for my wife. So she was already kind of a bit upset about that, but kind of right, well...
Central London to Scunthorpe?
Yes. And...
Was she a London?
No, she's Northern Irish, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, definitely not Central London. like very different. And I'm not from London either.
So do you mean you prefer to be in Scunthorpe, or do you prefer to be in London?
At the time, I was thinking I'd prefer to be in London, but that was only because I'd gone down there after my degree. I'd got a job down there, and it was all really exciting.
Done the London
and it was,
life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, now I would definitely not go down and live there again personally. I love going to visit it, but
I've always found it I hate using this terminology because it's so negative, but the rat race.
Yeah.
I spent a bit of time down there with a mate of mine, and I would go down and not be working, and he would be working, and watch him burst out the door, run to the tube, get on a tube, not speak to anyone, and then go to the pub and spend the whole night in the pub afterwards.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great for like 2 days. Yeah, not for a life.
Yeah, well, I managed about 2 years, I think. So in the end, the kind of move back up north was like a blessing in disguise. But the reason I left British Steel was because I thought I should have been offered like the next job up.
Right.
And I was told by my big boss, it's like, well, you can definitely do it, but you're too young.
Oh.
I was like, you what?
I'm not too young.
I was like, no, I probably was. But at that point, I didn't think I was. And therefore, I thought, right, I need to go and do something else. And that'll show them. Yeah. Which is like brave or stupid. Anyway, my wife, being Irish, as we've established, saw an advert for Guinness and said, why don't you go and do that? And I was like, I can't do that. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about the industry. She was like, well, why not?
Yeah.
So applied for it. Got a job with them, which was amazing, and they were a phenomenal company. So they were part of this big group called Diageo, who own millions of premium brands. And so I kind of worked my way through 2 or 3 different jobs there. Worked in the spirits business after that, then worked in the wines business after that, which was ace. Then kind of got headhunted to come and work for Nestle, because I was up near York.
And massive companies, them too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 2 of the biggest in the world.
Yeah, massive corporates.
Which, has its pluses and minuses, actually, to be fair. Yeah. But if while you're enjoying the job, the people who you're surrounded by are quality people, and you get great training, all that.
And they're all managed really well.
Yeah.
You like to think.
Yes. Yeah. Generally. And. Yeah, so that was, really kind of, nice life. I then got to another point where it was more bored, I would say, than anything else with Nestle, which it was nothing they did wrong at all. A great bunch of people. But I'd run quite a big sales team for them, like a few hundred people. And then I finished doing an MBA, so post-grad qualification, which I'd been doing at the same time, which was hard work, actually, to be fair. Kids young.
I was more about the hundreds of salespeople, but we'll come
Oh,
on to
okay, yeah. And because I'd done this qualification, they then said, oh, well, do you want to do a strategy role? I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. And then actually, it wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be, because I missed the people stuff.
Yeah, the bravado sales.
Yeah. So I then went and worked for, again, I kind of left Nestle, and everyone at the time was like, what are you doing? This is a bit mad. But it was a job for a printing business, so I knew nothing about printing.
Yeah.
But all the stuff they were producing was going into big retailers or the big brand owners like Nestle and Diageo. So I kind of knew the market, just not the product. And they were up in the Northeast, brilliant company. This was 2007. So I was sales and marketing director for them on their board. Quite exciting. That's the first time I'd sat on a board of a reasonable sized business. And then 2008 happened. Recession, and our market was retail.
Oh. Yeah.
And so I lost my job, which was like, ooh.
Yeah, big one, isn't it?
So that at the time when I think I'd been there 18 months to 2 years, something like that. So that was a real blow. I respect the decision. They were, it was the right decision. But then it was like, right, okay, well, I'll go and get another job. That was harder than it turned out to be in terms of finding the job that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I got introduced to Tab then, because they were literally just setting up in the UK. And I'd never considered franchising. I didn't really understand what franchising was.
Don't think I do.
Well, same still.
Yeah.
But I met the people who had just bought the rights for the UK, basically. So it'd been in the States for 20 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there were there was a master franchisee in the UK, but with 2 franchisees at that point.
Right.
And they're like, what do you think? And I loved those 2. They were brilliant people, and I loved the idea of what we were just talking about, kind of what we do. So then it was like, right, do I back myself? And and also this was the end of 2009, so life was quite tough.
Yeah, for everyone was
from an economic perspective. And my wife, Dav, had come to the Discovery Day with me, and I'd basically decided not to do it. And she was like, you have to do it.
No way.
That is you. Man. But the only thing is, it has to work. Like, okay.
Well, that's the best way to go into that attitude, right? Man, so there's quite a lot I've got to go back over.
Yeah.
I don't know what my favourite bit is. I want to know. So, when people say statements like managing a massive team, it's like that journey piece is the part in it. Like, mate, I have a team of 15 people or 16 people that work here, and it feels like I run a marathon every single day.
Yeah.
Is it always the same?
It is if you don't have great people.
Yeah.
The one. I did wonder about some of the questions you were going to ask me, and obviously
I'm always all over the place. And I'm really selfish on my podcast.
Perfect, I love it.
Yeah.
So one of the things I did think was like, right, what's been a constant through everything? And it's been my belief that if you get good people around you, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
And one of my clients actually said in one of the meetings that we run. And this would be 10 years ago. He said this. It was like, he was the MD of a big business. I'm permanently trying to make myself redundant.
Yeah.
And it was the first time anyone had actually voiced it like that to me. I was like, ooh,
yeah, no,
I like that.
I'll be honest with you, and I don't want to sound like him, but I do think that as well. And it's not because it's just because I've learned that having great people around you makes the business grow.
Yeah.
It's not always. I feel like the hardest bit is actually letting them believe it, making them believe it. Sometimes I think it's them bits. It's so like it's great hiring good people, but then sometimes coaching them and making them believe that they're great people is difficult sometimes. Well,
sometimes it's also letting them fail.
Yeah,
and I find that really, really hard.
Mate, I am exactly the same. I've got someone you met downstairs before, and hearing them come out with stuff, and I'm like. I can solve this in about 3 sentences, but I'm going to shut up.
You've got to let it go,
Yeah.
Yeah, that is hard. Yeah, I'm not sure that'll ever become easier. It's not my nature, that.
No.
But I've got better.
Yeah.
at just
So when you
backing
first started off at, is it Danjo, did you say? It's called?
Diageo.
Diageo. What was the first kind of role, and how did you get into like managing people?
So I'd started, the first role in Guinness was just selling basically. So it was me and another guy who was my boss, and we were selling to one of their big customers, all of Scotch and Newcastle's pubs. So that was kind of as you'd expect and relatively straightforward. And then I was fortunate that someone had met me at one of their conferences who ran a kind of regional sales team who needed an area manager, and just got in touch with me and like, do you fancy this? So it was a promotion from where I was. Like, yeah, sounds great. Spirits, I can do that. I drink them. Like, how difficult can it be?
Yeah.
So I had a little team then of 5. I can still remember every single one of them.
Yeah,
and they were young, actually. I mean, I was young.
How old were you, roughly? Just kind of 20s?
Yeah.
25, 26?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. And they were all sort of similar-ish age. So they were a great little team.
Good times.
Yeah. I mean, they were
Yeah.
awesome times, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, even just the freebies you got.
Yeah, I
Bloody
bet.
hell.
That whole sector's
Yeah,
amazing. So my mum used to work for Bass Breweries.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right, did she?
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, all that world, it
Yeah.
would have been kind of very, similar kind of back,
Yeah.
back then. And that was so this was the early 2000s, basically.
Yeah.
So then, I was lucky enough that I had my boss, who was a good people person. I'd have been on a number of different courses.
Has there
and
been
stuff
some
like
key
that.
people in your career that
Yeah.
you kind of lean on?
Yeah,
and talk you through
totally. And
things?
he'd certainly been one of the early ones who absolutely, for some mental reason, had faith in me from day one, and made it really clear.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking, are you mad?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Can you figure out why?
Not
Now, can you think why?
now, I suppose. Yeah,
What do you think?
I guess so. There'd be I think it's probably what he saw was a mixture of kind of some intellectual ability, but more my kind of empathy, EQ stuff, and an ability to, work with people.
Yeah. You don't seem like the type of person who loses his shit a lot.
I don't actually. No.
Yeah. You seem like that. Like I try not to, but
Yeah.
now and again I have. But what the good thing about me is I blow up and I come back down.
Yes. Yeah.
But you don't
Yeah.
strike me the type of person that would
Yeah.
shout and scream and stuff like that.
No.
Which is important managing a team, especially in sales.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose what I've always had is I've always had either mates or my wife who I'll talk to, and and if I need to let off steam or have a little rant with someone, then there's always been someone there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be very, very rare I'd lose it. Yeah.
Again, that's another important one. Great teams, but then great family life that you can offload
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
good circle of people around you.
Yeah. It's everything, isn't it?
Yeah,
Actually.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like social media definitely has an influence on some of people's offloading of thoughts, and you often see be careful of your circle, who you've got in your life.
Yeah.
And it's not until you go through them parts in your life you realise it's not just an Instagram post, or it's not just a quote.
It's very real. That.
It's very, very real.
Yeah.
And I always find it hard to swallow when people have massive friendship groups and loads of social life. It's just so not me, but I understand why people do. But I always understand. I always think to myself, but how do they process all them opinions and friendships and where do they stand and how do they comfort? How do they?
Well, it's also how they're wired, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or how any of us are wired. That some people thrive off. I mean, they charge themselves up through other people.
Yeah.
I actually sometimes. So my business partner Mags is like that.
Yeah.
And I love her to bits. I'm the opposite side of the circle.
Yeah.
Whereas there's times when I sometimes just need a bit of time on my own,
Yeah.
and I'll text her going, "This is one of those times."
Yeah.
She's like, "Let's meet up." And I'm,
No.
just give me half a day.
Yeah.
I just need to decompress a little bit and
Yeah.
But that is just how, some of that's just understanding yourself well enough. And, there's lots about my kind of profile from that perspective, which is not particularly attractive, but I'm reconciled with it. I'm really very cool about all of it. And I kind of joke about it now in terms of, well, here's all the bits that, you can consider, well, that's just Ed being a dick. But it's kind of, well, I'm not pretending to be anyone who I'm not. And I know myself well enough to know how to kind of regulate myself almost.
Yeah. You'll have definitely been through... So you mentioned like kind of the bit about blowing off steam and leaving that job, and I guess we're talking about ego a little bit, aren't we? And I think it's a funny one, isn't it, Bleeding? I think men and female go through it, definitely. Like, I'm tapping the table, but men and female go through it, don't they, as well? But I think men definitely go through it. Is that realisation sometimes that I've been a dick and it's my ego here and I need to deconstruct it, and I think that is very difficult.
Well, and that's the, I was sort of semi-joking about Dav talking about me being arrogant and me saying it's confident, but it was arrogance, the arrogance of youth, and a lot of that is, and that's the kind of, there's a competitive nature there, which is I want to be doing all of the stuff that, you pick off all the very best bits that your mates are doing. It's like, well, I should be doing that. It's like, well, no one else is. It's like, well, I'm going to give it a go and kind of almost pretend that I'm there. And so there was definitely that going on in my 20s and 30s for sure. And there's probably bits of it still going on now, but I'm more conscious of it and less bothered about it.
You've mentioned your missus quite a few times. She's a big part of your life, and a big solid part back.
Yeah, I mean, we met at uni. So we've known each other more than half our lives now, which is mental, really. But no, she is. We're a really, well, I would say we're a really good double act. You need to get her in.
She'll bring a bottle of wine.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Where do I start?
Yeah. She was so upset when. So when I'd gone from the booze company and the allowances we used to get, which I said were great, and then so I got a load of beer to start with because I was working in the Guinness bit. Then I used to get a load of spirits, which was great. It just got less but higher quality, and then wine's business got even less but even higher quality, and she was loving it. Then went to Nestle, load of chocolate and sweets, quite happy with that. And I went into printing. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What?" She was right. She was right. Actually, yeah, exactly. You can have as many as you like. I'll give you a poster. But no, we're great. I think in terms of our, we were both quite kind of corporate-y to start with. I've obviously gone, down a different track now for the last 15 years. She's got a big corporate job now. Just got a promotion. Actually, really proud of her. And it's, but she now works all the hours God sends actually, and I'm not doing because I've got, I'm able to have a bit more balance. And part of my initial franchise journey as a franchisee initially was part of the deal was you're going to drop the kids, at nursery and pick them up after school. And those kids are now at, they're both at uni now, which is, but they haven't really known me do anything else other than tap. And both of them are like, Dad, you don't really, they see their mum working her nuts off. Like, Dad,
what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, really? When you're working in franchising?
Yeah.
It's just a nothing job.
You're home most of the time. All you do is talk on the phone to people. Like, and?
It's nice, that bit. And I often talk about this on the podcast, and I kind of get round to it every single time now, is being a parent and running a business or having a career. It's so difficult, that sort of balancing act. It?
Well, I was, certainly in the early days, kind of, heavily reliant on, her doing her kind of stuff in her career, from a kind of financial perspective. But equally, I wouldn't, I was actually really fortunate that, I could, see the boys, kind of at the start and end of every day. It was one of the reasons why, one of the really hard things about that previous job in the printing business, they were up in, we live in Yorkshire, they were up in Tyneside, and then we bought a business down in Heathrow.
Wow. And
I was out the door at 6:15 every morning and back at 8 or 9, and I was literally not seeing the kids. I could not see them from on a bad week from like Monday to Friday. I was like, that something has to give there. So
I think it's like, it's what you did. It's difficult, isn't it? See, I've got some friends who are in the army and stuff. I've got a couple of friends who work away a lot, and I feel like it's that thing of that. You still get to spend quality time with them. You're just not with them all the time. But are you being inspiring to them as well by showing them what could work? It's such a difficult.
It's a total minefield, isn't it? And I think it is really difficult. There is no.
I don't think there's a right way.
Correct. I was just going to say that.
I feel like there's just how you make it work.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember which podcast it was, but someone that summed it up, and I really liked it. Is just if you're aware of it, that's good enough.
Yeah. And I think if you're, I totally agree with that. And I think if you're authentic, all the way through it, then the kids will pick up what they pick up. But actually, ultimately, when they're, certainly when they're younger, they haven't got a clue really. They're more bothered about how you are with them. It's what you're. Yeah, exactly.
It's what you're going through.
What you've got. Yeah.
Because sometimes I FaceTime the lads and I'm in a hotel. It's 8:00 at night and they both don't even look up from the game. iPad.
It's like whatever, Dad.
Whatever. And I'm like,
nice to see you too.
I'm like, I've got to get back and see the lads.
Yeah.
I have ended up having a conversation with Charlene for half an hour and don't even speak to them two. So I think to myself, well, it can't be that bad. I can't be missing out on that much.
No.
And that's what I think. So, and then I think both of them probably going to end up having their own businesses when they're older anyway. So,
brilliant. So that's kind of in your own way. There's some inspiration there.
Inspiring, that's what I kind of see. So, it's a funny one, I think, isn't it? And just running a business and deciding what's important, and it's so difficult because I think some other families project that out into the world, and I've got someone who's had a kid, and she just constantly projects how her perfect work-life balance is and her little world, and it's almost like everything else is incorrect.
Yes.
And I feel like saying, wow, you and the thing is, she thinks that she almost promotes that in her business, that you like be calm and all this sort of stuff, and I'm thinking, actually you're actually really negative and you don't realise how bad you are being right now to the majority of the public world that have to pull resource from everywhere, mums and dads and grannies and grandpas, and just to get by. And I find it difficult sometimes.
When that, if you're on the kind of receiving end of that, and feeling like the gap is just way too big, then that's really hard because you don't know where to start then, do you? And then you've got all the guilt and everything that that
my
comes
little
with
boy Jackson, I think I always get the date. I think it was about 11 days old he was when he went into nursery because Charlene had to go back to work and she just couldn't handle it. It's just is what it is. But so I just find it like, if you're aware and don't criticise anyone else because you never know when else is going through. So.
And it's what that is one. It's one of the subjects actually that our clients will talk about. Very many of them think when they join, it's like, well, I'm just going to bring business challenges and that's it, because that's what I should do. And then actually they find they're sat around a table with half a dozen other people just like them. Often there'll be people around a table who've got kids of similar ages and all that kind of stuff. And
I think you're probably going to get around to it eventually. You've already mentioned it once. Most of the time, running a business is just about emotions and emotional intelligence. The rest of it's kind of normal. It
is. Yes, I mean, I think the so much of it is the people stuff. So the guy who Paul, who set up the Tab UK business in the first place. So I ended up buying a franchise from him and then buying that business off him. Yeah, so that was the.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to ask you about that.
So he said to me very early on. He said, if running a business was that simple, someone would have written the definitive book. And that's all you'd need.
The manual. Here's your manual.
No one's written that book yet, have they?
No.
And for me, that's the the fluid bit in all of it is nearly always the people stuff. Because most people can adapt and change to what's going on out there.
And you can train and skill up and all that sort of stuff.
And that's all good. It's all good,
it's
but
the emotional bit.
I think I certainly in a leadership role, not necessarily even the ultimate leader, but in any role where you've got, people who are looking to you, then yes, it's the thing.
I guess you'll end up in them meetings basically offloading about how you're dealing with something, or a member of your team, or how you're building your business, and being able to. It's that I use this analogy in every single podcast as well. It's that raft analogy. you're on a raft in the middle of the night on your own. If you're with someone else, it just doesn't seem as bad.
No.
And I think it's that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's it. No, that's exactly it. And one of the things that people often say is the thing that what we do for them is it takes away that loneliness.
Yeah.
And arguably, what's interesting, which I suppose it's maybe obvious, but if you're running your own business and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're still the single point at the top of it, you just get lonelier and lonelier and lonelier.
100%.
And then you feel even less comfortable seeking help from other people because you don't want to show weakness and all that kind of stuff. And then you can get yourself into like a proper state.
Yeah.
And so, when we put these guys and girls together with each other, they're like, oh my God, you're just like me. I've got all of those stresses and, worries and anxieties and all that kind of stuff. And opportunities. It's certainly not all negative.
Yeah.
But and then the connection then between people when they haven't had that kind of thing is it's almost instant. They've got to learn to trust each other and that kind of stuff. But even in the when people come along to a first meeting, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I
didn't know this world existed.
Everyone else is like me.
Yeah.
It's like, nice which is very cool. Yeah.
I literally was talking about this before, and it's I don't even know how to phrase this properly. It's just letting everyone else off the hook in the room at the same time, drawing a line in the sand, saying we're all struggling, let's all find a way through forward. It kind of that kind of mentality, isn't it?
Yeah. We've got we need to redo this actually, but because it's a few years old. But we did a little animation on our website, and it was called Quicksand animation, and it's a business owner stuck in the quicksand. And it says, load of consultants come up and tell him how to get out, but the guy's like flailing around, still doesn't know how to. Someone else comes and tells him, it still doesn't help, and then someone runs up, jumps in with him, and like, right, we're here together now.
Yeah.
And together, and it's exactly the same as your raft.
Yeah. I love that, and I've heard that one before. They're getting in the hole with someone, getting in the trenches with them.
Exactly.
Let's dig out both our ways out, or I'll sit here with you because I've been here before.
Yeah.
It's about that's more around grief, that one as well for me. When someone's grieving, you can go and sit in there with them and just.
And that's all you have to do. But it's just being there. Yeah.
How did you cope with? I'm just jumping around this podcast.
It's cool.
It's bad because I've not even got back to your family life or anything yet. But how did you go from a massive corporate dealing with that into basically being an entrepreneur?
Well, I had that transition from the kind of big corporate into this printing business, which was an SME. So they were like 100 people, but it was still a decent size company.
Still massive.
That's a really good question, actually.
Yeah. I mean, did you just slip into it, or can you remember some difficult moments?
Yeah. I know.
You just because it's think about if you were thinking about buying a franchise, and you were in big corporate. What you say now could be real good information for someone. So can you think about anything?
Or spectacularly bad.
Well, either way, again, the raft analogy.
Yeah. So, and I was lucky that I had, my franchisor, because we were tiny then. For my first 2 years as a franchisee, there were probably only maybe up to a dozen of us, including the franchisor and their sort of central team. So that felt great because we were
quite intimate as well.
It was. And you could pick the phone up at any time. They were based just up the road from me. We had monthly meetings anyway. So all of that helped for sure. But I do remember, a story I'll tell prospective franchisees of ours when they ask me about how I got on with my franchise. And if any of them are, sufficiently interested, I'll tell them about. There was a night in a mobile home in France when we were on family holiday, and I think I was in my second summer, so I'd started the business in January basically, so it was 18 months in, and I was awake at 3 o'clock in the morning in this tiny little room, this tiny little bed with kind of Dav there, me there, like she's peacefully asleep, and I'm just staring at the ceiling thinking, this isn't working. And I've got this agreement with her that it is going to work. Because if it didn't work, that was yeah, I know. I'm very pleased we didn't go there, but that would have been bad. You know, borrowed money.
Yeah, house gone.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if I'm being really honest, I'd have been more bothered about the ego stuff than anything. Because we could always have downsized, I suppose. Yeah. Not that would have been a comfortable conversation. But you know, that would have been okay actually. But yeah, the blow to my ego, I think, would have been that. Whether I could have come back from that, I don't know actually. But it was one of those moments where I was like, right, I've got minimums to pay to my franchisor. I can see where that's going. They're ramping up again. You know, I'm going to have to go and get some more clients, and it's bloody hard. But that felt like one of those pivotal moments where it's like, you know, I'm going to have a nice holiday. I'm going to get back and I'm going to smash it.
Yeah. What do you think why do you think you just made that decision just in the middle of the night?
Because partly because it's very rare I wake up in the middle of the night worrying about stuff.
Is it?
Yeah, thankfully. It's all the booze. No, it's not. It certainly would have been a bit of that on that holiday.
Yeah.
Because I know the family who we were with. I think it was just I had to.
Yeah.
You know, it was like that moment of clarity of like this has to change.
Well, I think you probably went into it thinking that anyway.
Yes.
And then got to the point where you go, oh, this is rock bottom.
Yeah.
This is potentially rock bottom.
Yes.
So either act.
Yes.
Or.
Yeah. Well, or.
Yeah.
I didn't see the other stuff really as big a choice. It's like
I've seen that trait before in other people we've had franchises with.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Right.
Yeah, where it's like, hey lads, hey. They get into it, it's all warm and cuddly and everything seems to be okay. And it kind of gets not okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it's like a hey lads, hey conversation.
Yeah. Well, I think I'd been, and I wonder if I've never really examined this before properly, but I knew I was really enjoying the work I was doing. I was absolutely loving working with business owners and
creating an environment.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that was very cool. I really liked the people, you know, within my franchise network as well. You know, so that was all good. The only issue was actually
not doing enough of it.
Yeah, and therefore not reaping the rewards of it sufficiently. So, and then actually, lo and behold, I managed to turn it around and off I went, and kind of almost the rest was history in terms of the my journey as a franchisee. And then it would have been 3 or 4 years after that I was then approached by the franchisor going, right, we're looking to sell. We want you to be the person who buys it. Like, you what?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So there's some interesting, like, how do you go about buying a business?
Well, so
we don't have to tell me everything.
No, it's fine. So that first meeting happened in a really nice pub near our house. So the then franchisors, who were a business couple, Paul and Joe, phoned me and said, right, we want to meet you and Dav, my wife. I was like, that's weird. It's like, okay, that's fine. Maybe you're doing that with all of the franchisees. Yeah. So we went and had this, really nice meal, and then, kind of an hour into it, they're like, right, anyway, we've got something we want to talk about, and we're wanting to exit, and we'd like you to buy it. So it's me and my wife, and we both pretty much immediately went, well, we're not going to do that, because we knew we wouldn't do that. We didn't want to do that together. I mean, I don't think we ruled it out on the spot, but we did within a couple of hours of leaving. But I knew that I didn't want to do it on my own. Partly because I'd seen Paul and Joe, this couple who were having this conversation with us, I'd seen them operate brilliantly together. They kind of really complemented each other. And so I thought, well, I am interested in it. I'm going to have to go and raise a shed load of money. Which isn't necessarily going to be easy, but I don't want to do it unless I'm going to do it with someone else. And thankfully, this is another one of those rules of business that I broke almost immediately. It was like, never go into business with your mates. So one of our best friends, Mags, who's now my business partner. So she had been doing a bit of kind of consulting in conjunction with her husband. He'd actually been one of my clients as well as Tab. So they knew about Tab a little bit from that angle. And obviously from, what I told her as, as mates.
Just being friends.
Yeah. And so, so I went and did the same thing as had just been done to me. It was like, we'll go for a drink with, Mags and her husband Mark, and like float this crazy idea to them. And they're like, actually, that's interesting. And so then, Mags and I decided that's what we were going to do. I mean, not like that.
Yeah.
But so then it's like, right, we need to go and find some money. So then it's off to the banks.
And you just create a business plan and talk about the idea, look at the overheads for the last however many years from the previous business.
So we did all the due diligence and stuff, which was a lot, and we also, because we're an international franchise, we also had to sign like a whopping great franchise agreement with Tab International.
Right, yeah.
So then we're having conversations with them in the States. I had a brilliant relationship already with them because I was one of the original franchisees in the UK. But even then, that still felt like, that did feel like a very big step at the time, very big, because I was having this, a conversation with Jason, who's still the global CEO. I remember meeting him in a hotel lobby in Denver when we decided this is what we were going to try and do. We still had to go and raise the money and all that kind of stuff. And I remember being really nervous about sitting down with Jason because he was like, he's like the sort of god. Yeah. He's a lovely, lovely guy. Now the relationship I've got with him is amazing. But back then as a little franchisee, it's like, right, or do you want to run the UK business and own it? Like, yeah. And it's like, that was quite. I don't normally get daunted by much actually. Yeah. But that was one of those like proper sweaty palm moments.
Am I doing the right?
You're like, God.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, but worth it, But so that was, and then it took us basically a year to actually get all of the funds together. Which was because of the time we were doing it. It was the economy then. It was 2016, 2017 wasn't particularly great, and the banks weren't.
Yeah, lovely.
Weren't particularly up for it. But thankfully, I'd had a really good relationship with one of the main bankers in York when I'd been running my franchise there, and he kind of it was more on him trusting me rather than, and he was like, I can sign a certain amount off, without it having to go to the, where the computer says no. And that's just through having developed good relationships with people.
That's life, isn't it?
It is.
People.
Yeah.
Network.
Yeah.
What's the saying? Your network is your net worth.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, I haven't heard that actually.
It's good one.
Yeah. I'll nick that too.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
I do believe that as well.
Yeah.
I've been on a bit of a dismantling friendship journey recently.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard, and I've been in tears. I've been upset. Question myself, but removing certain individuals from your life for things that didn't serve you any purposes anymore, or made you question yourself, or.
And you're talking about more than just like unfollowing someone on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm talking about just like they are not in my life anymore.
Wow.
You don't have to announce it to them. You are no longer in my life. It's just don't be in contact with them anymore.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that they're a horrible person or a toxic individual. It's just that you're
not right for you.
Yeah. And I feel like the situations that you can, and then just moving on from it, it's tough, but also nice. It's also like an invigorating feeling at the same time.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for people who have to constantly want to be liked and be friends with people and scared of that process. Because when you actually start doing, you fucking grow.
Yeah.
As an individual.
Yeah.
Like you really start understanding who you are, your identity, like everything starts coming out, and you start thinking, actually, no longer have to worry about this anymore. And I don't know, it's not new.
It's normally
have a tangent. It's
I think that nearly always happens after any brave decision.
Yeah.
It's hard, really hard, and stuff like that's about as hard as it gets, actually.
Yeah.
But if you fundamentally think it's the right thing to do, it almost certainly is.
Yeah. It's
a lot of people wouldn't do that, though.
Yeah, like I like proper, like it's almost become a little bit addictive. Do you know what I mean? It's almost become like I could do more of this.
Well, as long as you don't only end up with one person.
Yeah, exactly. Not zero, like on my own. That was good fun. I don't know, quite sounded actually.
but I'm feeling good.
But I feel like also sometimes you need room for growth.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people that you've been around for a long time, they only remember the old. And I think that sometimes people don't go through change themselves.
Yeah.
And then they don't give you room to grow and remind you who you were.
Yes.
And if you're on this great growth, trying to change you as a person and moving forward and things like that, they don't allow you to do that.
Yeah.
Mentally.
I tell you what, that's made me. I definitely agree with that. What that's made me think is that we're really lucky at home that we've got an incredible kind of group of mates, as kind of families whose kids have grown up, together. And actually, I think because all of us, was kind of each
had them discussions.
And each of the adults in the in the couples have all grown themselves, and we've kind of all done it together, actually,
and apologetic to each other about it as well.
Yeah.
I've got some friends who are like that as well, and it's nice. I was just going to tap into that a little bit. What was family like? When did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
So I was born just down the road in Preston, actually. So just driving over here today, despite the horrible weather, it actually felt really nice because my grandparents were in Lytham.
Right.
So, honestly, it felt a little bit like, it's like being
at home,
about being a kid again, and kind of coming over. So, my dad was in insurance and he moved around a lot. So we moved around. I can't remember now, but we lived in 8 different places before I was 18.
Wow. Does insurance do that to you?
It's like kind of like I think at the time in the 80s, it was 80s, 70s, 80s. It's kind of how you got promotion. It was like, you moved to so we went from Preston to near Leeds to then York to Newcastle, back to Bradford, then over to Chester.
There seems to be a lot of money in insurance. There's an insurance brokers down the road from us, and the car park on the back. They've all got brand new Range Rovers. I walk past them like, what the fuck is like fucking £500,000 of a car in the car park here?
That's dodgy, that.
I'm like, I don't get it.
I'm sure they're a brilliant business.
I know. I'm like, how have they all got 23 plate Reggies out?
My dad wasn't driving a Range Rover. But he was on that kind of, sort of, like I'd say almost sort of, old school kind of corporate, career. And so probably the most significant thing when I was a kid, actually, I think when we moved down from Newcastle, so I kind of grew up in Newcastle, moved up there when I was 5, and I was still there when I was 12. So that's kind of, that still feels
like home
a
as well,
bit like home.
Yeah.
I mean, Yorkshire really is now, because I've been there for 20 something years, but every time I go back up to Newcastle, so that they're my football team, and and I went to uni there as well. So that was nice.
Did you jib around schools when you were that age?
Well, so the most significant thing was I went to boarding school when I was 13. So 13 to 18, and it was purely because it was like, my parents are like, we don't want you moving schools another 2 or 3 times.
Consistency
between sort of GCSEs and A levels or whatever. Yeah. So that was, and I absolutely loved it.
God, I'm so glad you're going to say
that. But there were. It's a proper Marmite, kind of scenario where, if you're not, kind of in with the right kids.
Yeah, it can be very difficult.
Brutal. I mean,
my
really.
brother went to boarding school and he didn't cope, but he was so naughty.
Right.
He did a year and they booted him out.
Yeah.
He was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But then I always hear stories of people who've been to boarding schools anyway and they do the usual, I was bullied and blah, 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 blah. Which is fine, I understand that, and I was bullied at school, fucking hated it, but I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, I did. I mean, it was quite sporty. I just felt like, kind of lessons slightly got in the way of, being able to play sport every afternoon, and, that was fab. And I've made some, lifelong, absolutely lifelong friends. I was on the phone this weekend to, one of the guys who I've known since I was, 13, who's our best man,
Amazing.
So that was, and I think the single biggest thing I got from that was confidence. Actually, it was because I was before that I was definitely a kind of quiet, slightly kind of in my shell kind of kid, and I don't think you could really survive in that in that kind of boarding school environment unless you were a bit more on the front foot. I was like, okay, well, that's what I'll be. And
you do give me that vibe. You're quite. He's a bit like my mum a little bit. I feel like you've done quite a lot with your life and probably led a big team and been part of something, but you definitely don't give that bravado off. You're kind of like quite controlled, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I am.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. It's a nice thing.
Thank you.
I like it about you. You're just not. You're unassuming in a really nice way.
Yeah. Other people might tell you different.
Well, yeah, they might be the ones who've been to the pub with you.
Yeah.
But it's a nice trait.
Yeah.
It's a really nice trait.
Yeah. It's a funny one that. I think you're probably right about the pub.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same.
Yeah.
Don't come to the pub with me on Friday. We'll get into Monday.
Yeah. So kind of school. Mum and dad actually kind of in a good way carried on moving a bit because it sort of proved that it was the right decision.
Yeah. And obviously paid well because they could put you in a nice boarding school.
Yeah, although they made, as my dad reminds me every time I see him. I mean, to be fair to it, made like real sacrifices. Actually. He'd had kind of nice car, and it was like, the next day it was like, why is the Maestro on the drive?
Yeah.
And he was like, sort of tell me about it.
Yeah, it's 20 grand a year.
No, exactly. And I'm genuinely grateful for that. It was a big deal.
It set you in good stead, didn't it, mate?
Yeah. I think one of my real I don't know why I've gone to this. One of my real bugbears about stuff like that is there's a number of people who I've come across in my life who, as soon as they realise I was at boarding school, were like, "Oh, you've had it easy." No, it's of course you're where you are. I'm like, what?
I don't like.
It's like I've worked just as hard as you, if not harder. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And it's funny that some people will jump.
That's their victim mentality, though.
Well, yeah, probably is actually. It probably is.
Rejecting.
Yeah.
Whenever I've fucking I've had it all my life too. Silver spoon, blah 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 blah. Because I work for mum. I'm sure it's been said about me, people, previous employees and stuff, but.
Yeah, and it's the thing is that what I used to do was get into full on justification mode, and then you think, why am I spending all my? I know this. I don't care. I don't care whether you know it or whether you don't.
Yeah.
But
it hurts your ego, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, someone says that to me now, and I genuinely like whatever.
Yeah.
But that's probably only in the last. If I actually think about that, I reckon that's probably only in the last 5 or 10 years.
Well, a lot of the time is sometimes there's some sort of. Let's face it, we all like to be told we're doing a good job.
Yeah.
And if you're proud of something you achieved and you want to shout and talk about it, sometimes people are a little bit jealous of that. Or a little bit, I can't do that, so I'm going to poo-poo what you're doing. Yeah, sort of unpick the threads a bit. It's funny that I don't know why I suddenly came out with that. That's the whole point of the podcast, isn't it? It's just to unpick.
It takes you to different places.
It's I always find what you got and how you got there is amazing, and I love the sound of your business. I might come to one of you. I'm gonna have to come.
Totally love you too.
It's got me intrigued.
It costs a fortune though, Ryan.
You'll do it for free. It's fine.
What with the ice scraper you've just given me?
But it's
thanks, Kay.
it's interesting, isn't it? What I have to always get is unpick how I got there in a really nice way, because I think it's only your life and your career history that's got you to that point.
Yes.
That puts you there, because you didn't apply for the MD of a franchise network.
No, I did not.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And
totally.
that advert will never come about.
Yeah.
You just get made there.
Yes. Yeah.
You just get made there. So
and that's what, there's one thing I love more than anything that I do. It's about hearing those people's stories.
Yeah.
Their equivalent stories of, because actually the vast majority of people who are our clients are, the people who own their own businesses, of whether it's million turnover, 20 million turnover. None of them, or very few of them, have applied for that job.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them have. If they're MD or whatever, they might not be the owner, but most of them have got there somehow.
Yeah.
And all of those stories, every single one of them is different, but with the same few threads. It's like, work hard, spot opportunities, take some risks, hopefully be fairly good with people.
Yeah. And then for me, it's the because I sit there in disbelief. I'm like, how the fuck has this person got to this situation? And that's why I started the podcast, because I did it from a purely selfish point of view of just not understanding how other people are so successful. Success as in business, because I think success is actually a different word. Actually.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm just like, how the fuck have they got there? And how have they dealt with it? Because every single day I'm like, I get tested in ways I never thought I would get tested. And I've had to dig deeper than I've ever thought. And then I think to myself, I've sorted and I'm got through that lesson this week. And then some other massive bomb just comes on like, what the fuck? So that's why I started the podcast, is because I think that the franchise industry needs to hear stories of people and how they got there. What they go through emotionally, and growing it and stuff like that. And so that more of the people think about franchising their business, and for more people get into it, and that's why.
Which is a brilliant thing to do. Yeah.
And that's why kind of interesting to pull apart. How long were you a franchisee for before you come up with the franchisor?
7 years. So I've done now 14 years. So it's like I'm hitting exactly the spot. In fact, it's next week will be our 7-year anniversary since we bought the franchise, and I was a franchisee for 7.
Wow.
So half and half so far.
If you were going to give anyone advice who's thinking about buying a franchise or becoming a franchisee, what could you give me? Like, I think maybe two tips of advice. Be
prepared to absolutely work your nuts off for the first couple of years. Don't make an assumption that just because you're buying a system and you're investing in it that it will just happen for you. We've definitely had examples of franchisees in our network who think that, despite the fact I've told them again and again and again through
it's
the
mad,
kind of process,
but
they choose not to hear it.
Yeah, you spell it out to them. So I've got a franchisee potentially signing with us, and I'm just in this crux all the time with them. And they've been to 2 conferences. I've took them to conferences,
right,
to just prove to them how difficult it is.
And
my conferences at the minute, any problems I'm just dealing with, and I'm just trying to prove to them that this is difficult. It's interesting. No matter how times you tell people, they just don't. Listen.
And it's I think that's a good thing that franchisors do, is try and put people off.
Definitely put them off.
So the first one is work really hard. The second one is, for me, and it's maybe a bit more around our franchise because it's such a people-based one, like yours is do you believe in the people running the show? You are, although you're signing an agreement with the franchisor who's a business, and I could sell it tomorrow and they'd be working with someone different, but on the assumption you don't think that's going to happen as a potential franchisee, do you think you can work with
that franchisor?
For me, that was a real biggie. But equally, I was buying it as a franchisee. Was literally the 5th person, the 6th person in the whole business, and a dog. That was it. So
I get it. That statement's quite. So can we delve in a little bit about identity? So I always question: do I always act and behave and lead this business the right way? Quite often I question, should I do what I do and how I act? And it's just being me, but should I polish it up a little bit, or should I change? But I fundamentally don't want to do that because I'm just happy being me. But I think that maybe that might put some people off, or and I might spend more time explaining myself to people who work for me or work with me, and have to go about it a long way around, more usually an emotional conversation. I'm just wondering, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a really good question, because a massive part of that is, what culture do you want? And what you don't want is a culture where you're having to be someone who you're not. That doesn't mean you can't. All of us can add certain things and be better at certain things, and cut out some of the stuff that we know we could probably cut out occasionally.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all doable. But fundamentally, you are who you are, and your business is what it is as a result of it. So, and actually, you would make a strong argument of any of the business models where you just go, well, in that case, we'll just stick with it because it's I'm going to say it's rinse and repeat. It is relative to some other businesses in terms of the franchise model. It's like, well, we need another franchisee to go and do effectively the same thing somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great thing that you question yourself on it, but I mean, my gut feel would be you absolutely stick with who you are. People join for who you are,
That's
and they'll stay for who you are as well.
Yeah,
I
think that's what I'm like. It's like that toss up between of like your ego coming back in and being like
Yeah.
unapologetically myself.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shout and swear and scream and talk about all these things and be a little bit unapologetic, and then thinking I don't need to be as excessive as that. But I'm definitely going to, and I guess you'll be the same. It's like, I'm not going to give that bravado all the time. It's just that constant conversation with yourself and that internal dialogue.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, because I think it's lazy to just go, oh, it's just me. Yeah. Take it or leave it, and then be a complete tit.
Yeah, exactly.
That is lazy.
Yeah. Almost stupid as well.
Yeah. And arrogance, and kind of not caring, and all that kind of stuff. But still, there's the authentic you.
Yeah, you just want to be yourself, don't you? And understand that myself is someone practicing to grow. Like I'm constantly trying to evaluate.
And trying to think about how how you're impacting everyone else's lives who are around you. I think if you're conscious of that and you've got a bit of empathy and you've got a feel for how people are reacting to it, then you're not going to be the idiot, are you? No. You're not going to go out of your way to hurt people's feelings. Where if sometimes when people go, well, they can just take me or leave me, and it's like, well.
Is that really what you mean?
Yeah. Actually, all you're doing is making an excuse for not wanting to change anything.
Yeah, what an excuse, and just not listening to people. Like you think you're this, but you actually aren't.
Yeah.
I think that too. I feel like that's true.
But that is a.
I know I'm quite deep and stuff like that. It's just it's on the top of mind at the minute. It's just like, should you, shouldn't I? Yeah,
and whether you want it or not, people look to you as the leader of the business.
Yeah, no.
And therefore there is a role that you're playing. It's perfect if you're playing it 100% as you.
But then that comes with its problems sometimes.
Yeah.
So because I'm quite open, I have an open door policy. Well, not a policy, but I just fucking leave my office all over fucking policy. But like being able to have deep and meaningful conversations about life and partners and all that sort of stuff means that sometimes a lot of my time can be taken up by having deep and meaningful conversations, not actually getting on with the job, and it's just trying to find what's the best thing. I've had a lot of time taken up this week about just talking about someone's emotions and dealing with it, and it's like that toss up between, I'm thinking to myself, fucking hell, was that a right business decision or not this week? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, if I totally get that. If you're not questioning the decisions you're making, that's also really dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a balance, isn't there? You don't want to be, every single decision and go, oh God, I'm going to sit in the dark corner and have to think every single element of it. You'd kind of just end up in a puddle of water, wouldn't you? But but I think the kind of constantly challenging of like, right, okay, well, on the big decisions, what was that right? And talking to, that is the beauty about. I mean, it's why I'm so happy that I've got I've got Mags as my business partner. We'll talk about everything, and that does include the kind of how we operate together, and we set out from the start.
Your behaviour and
we're like, well, this is we were very clear, but even before we started working with each other, it's like these are some of my traits, these are some of my traits. There's going to be times when you're going to drive me completely mad, and I'm definitely going to drive you even more mad than that with some of the stuff I will do and how I'll act. But actually, first of all, we understand that, and secondly, then we've got a language that we can, where we know we can each talk about that. And occasionally over the last 6 or 7 years, there've been definitely there's been kind of a couple of moments, nearly always with me winding her up, and she's not, because she's so nice, has kind of sometimes not said something when she probably should have done.
Should have done,
and then eventually and it's fine, and I think we've actually dealt with all of it really well. But and I've probably been a bit guilty of that as well. Where I've kind of let stuff, not fester. That's probably too strong a word, but just like,
what you mean.
just there's a niggle there.
Yeah.
But that, and again, we talk to our clients about this all the time. We've even got a thing like a policy called a partnership charter that we introduce to people and go like, these are all the things that you should be considering if you're going into business with each other, and beyond just how you make decisions, but it's like how you act and how you operate together. It's easy when it's someone else, isn't it? And then when it's actually you who's having to do it, it's like, oh, hang on, that doesn't apply to me. Like, what?
I wrote that thing.
Yeah. But obviously it does. But I think we're lucky that we can find a kind of language and a way of operating, and we know each other well enough that we know kind of how to get the best out of each other, and even just like the best working environment. And actually, where we have our very, very best conversations tends to be over like 1 or 2 glasses of wine. We also have lots of conversations over many more glasses of wine, but neither of us can remember what we said then. But I think you just find your path, don't you? What works for you, and then you've just got to try and.
Most of my conversation at work, Mum is usually over an Indian or a Chinese.
Are they?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Or in her kitchen. Quite often when you'll know when it's the toughest decisions, because I'll ring Mum in the morning and say, I'll meet you at your house.
I'm coming over.
Yeah, I'm coming over. And it's usually a working day before I need to talk to you in the kitchen.
Yeah. Right.
And then
that's interesting.
Yeah, because it's just like, come and sit in my office in 10 minutes and see how many times that door knocks. It's impossible.
Yes. Okay.
And to have any sort of depth conversation, get it really going, because you know what it's like. You have to unpick it, don't you? You have a conversation, then you've got to go back over it, unpick it, and then make the final decision.
Totally. Yeah. So one thing we noticed quite recently, pre-COVID, Mags and I together would be on a train with each other going to our franchisee meetings, and we'd have, I think back then it was probably 4 or 5 meetings a month that we were going to, like 2 in London, 1 in Scotland, 1 in Manchester, 1 in Birmingham, that kind of thing. And we knew that because we had 5 opportunities every month where it would just be the 2 of us on a train. We'd save a load of stuff up and like, I know I need to talk about that then, so we'll talk about it on Friday morning when we're off up to Edinburgh or whatever. And that was amazing, and like really, it was a brilliant opportunity. Then COVID hit, so then we moved everything to Zoom, no face-to-face meetings for more or less a year, and so we weren't getting those opportunities to talk.
Offload.
And even now we're doing, because we've ended up doing kind of a hybrid of the meetings of some are Zoom, some are face-to-face. So we're only now just getting back into that kind of routine of those regular touch points where no one can interrupt us, no one can phone us, because the bloody phone doesn't work on a train anyway, does it?
No.
And I would, anyone who's in business who's got, a business partner, like, you've got to create space.
An appointment.
Exactly, it has to be diarised. It's not just like, I just happen to.
You have to go and pick the things that you want.
Yeah. And if you get that working really well, then it means you don't have to bug that person with a random question at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night. It's like, I'm just going to talk to them about it on Friday.
I completely get
that's
that.
fine. Yeah, that works well. That.
What's next for you? 7 years in, 7 years out. Has you got the 7-year itch? Are you gonna carry on?
No, definitely carrying on. I'm enjoying it too much not to. Last year, which we said to all of our franchisees actually, last year was the toughest year I think we've had. You'd think COVID would be and all that kind of stuff, but you kind of had to get into that, didn't you? And it's like, lots of stuff to do.
I think it's still the same now. I think it's really tough. I still think the marketplace is.
Yeah, well, ours is. It
will be, because you've got business owners, haven't you? Lots.
Yes,
of so
they're all our clients. So
they're all finding it tough.
We are basically a barometer of that market.
The economy's tough at the minute.
Yeah, it is. Although I do think it's improving.
Yeah, I think it's improving this year.
Yeah.
But
I think last year was just felt flat, and
everyone felt bruised.
That's exactly it. So that's exactly it. We thought, all of us, head office, all of our franchisees, people working really hard, and we basically, it was pretty much just a flat year.
Yeah.
What? That's a lot of peddling that to just
get nothing.
Just end up more or less where you started. So what in terms of kind of what next? So we had a bit of a, Mags and I had a bit of a a couple of glasses of wine. Like, we need to
get going,
change some stuff now. And so we've made some really good decisions, I think, on stopping doing some stuff and being relatively unapologetic about it, but explaining it to the franchisees. This is what we're not going to do anymore. We're going to change some stuff. We're going to focus on 2 or 3 things this year. That's it. And if you want to add other stuff in, folks, you're going to have to make a sensational case for it. But we're going to do these 2 or 3 things really, really, really well.
Focus.
And we think they're the things that are going to make the difference. So I'm feeling great about it. Way better than, if we'd done this in December, you might have had a different Ed on the other side of the table.
I'll be honest with you, I'm exactly the same.
Right, okay. So what's changed for you then?
The market. Well,
Right.
I'll be honest, what's changed for me is me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just fucking rolled my sleeves up and got
Right.
into the business, gone right back into the core business.
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
saying it's down to me because it's not, because I've not, all I've done is go, do this, do that, do this
Yeah.
needs looking at. Because
Yeah.
I'm in that position of
Yes.
looking over.
Yeah.
Because I got myself there.
Yeah.
I can go, right, this needs fixing, that needs fixing, this needs sorting, that needs done. I've got a consultant in, I've done this,
Yeah.
made this happen, we've done that, moved
Yeah,
around,
yeah,
changed
yeah.
a couple of commission structures.
Right.
And it's back on track.
Okay.
Without that, I think it would be a disaster.
Okay.
But I think I'm working better, smarter and harder.
Great. Good.
And I think everyone's probably done that.
Yes.
A lot of people
Yeah.
didn't want another 2023.
Yeah.
And everyone wants a 2024,
Yeah, I
which
agree
is
with
then
that.
pushing the economy.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I think everyone kind of went, fuck
yeah,
this,
yeah.
I'm not doing this again.
Yeah. So that's definitely where we are. So, so I'm actually really excited about it. And Max and I have done a kind of a 5-year plan, which is what's triggered what we're going to focus on this year.
Focus.
But it is part of that slightly longer planning cycle that traditionally we've done a kind of a year at a time, whereas actually we've gone, no, this is where we want to be by 2029. And therefore we're going to have to change. We've got to change stuff now in order to get there, which is nice. Like a bit of kind of new batteries plugged in and feel like really good about it actually. So it's exciting.
Yeah, nice. Are you going to go for any awards or anything then?
We will. It's one of those funny ones. So we got really close in one of our first years actually. We thought, this is straightforward. Just enter an award and you're finalists. Like, amazing. And then we've entered, I think we've probably entered at least for one category a year. And I think we've maybe been finalists in one other thing once. But actually it's really tough, isn't it? People like you turning up and bloody making it difficult for everyone else.
Mate, that's down to earth, thank God. Well, that's my amazing delegation
We need
skills.
to have a conversation then.
But we're going to go for the BFA awards this year.
Yeah, and we great, and so you should.
I don't think we'll get listed, but I think the work that goes into it's going to make us sit up.
Yes.
I don't think we'll get finalists.
I mean,
I don't think we're good enough, but I think the work to do.
Well, I think you might surprise yourselves, but I hope you do actually. Because I honestly think you deserve to. So I'll be cheering if you do. That'll be awesome. But I think the process, the BFA process it's hard, and that's good.
Yeah. It makes it worth it.
Yeah, it totally. Yeah. But it really does make you look at, particularly if you've entered them, a couple of years in a row. It's like, well, what are we doing differently?
Yeah.
This year from last year.
Yeah.
And how are we communicating it and getting that kind of message across?
We'll
do that.
Buzzwork Awards. Is it Buzzwork? Buzzbuzz?
Work Buzz.
Work Buzz. I would dyslexia that.
Buzzwork maybe better actually.
And the results from that, I take it seriously. And one of the things we got was 71% on peer-to-peer support. And I was like, we need to fucking sort that out.
Yeah.
So that's why I did the full conference every 2
Yeah,
months.
great.
Because I think the industry average was 84%, and I was like, we got 100% on some stuff.
Yeah.
We won. We actually won last year.
Yeah.
But I was still like, we can be better.
Yeah.
I want to be 100% of everything. I don't care if I win.
Yeah.
Because I think that's down to your presentation on the day. But I think knowing that you're good enough to your franchise network is the important bit.
That's massively important.
So, going for these awards, the BFA awards, Kay says she's promised she's going to win, so that's great news, Kay. Thanks.
Perfect.
But I think me and Kay and some of the team will go on a journey, and that's the important bit, isn't it? That's the important bit, is making what's the iron sharpens iron. Get yourself better.
Yeah. Well, certainly, we've had, so we got the 5-star satisfaction this year, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But even then, has stuff on that, where we've scored whatever it is, anything in the kind of 60s or 70s, where you're thinking, well, that's horrific.
Yeah, it's bad.
And actually, but then you think, can you please all the people all the time? And you probably can't. But I think it maybe the kind of people that we are in terms of wanting. I want all of our franchisees to be really happy with every aspect of it. And the fact it's not happening is actually really, really frustrating.
Yeah. That's why. I mean, I immediately, I was like buzzing with one, but I was like sat and got the piece of paper and went, where the fuck are my faults? I'm going to fix them. And that was the first thing I did. And I said to Mum, I want to do a conference every 2 months. Everyone, it's going to cost me $7,000 a time roughly. Can we commit to it? And that was it, done. It's done. And I know when I put that, I think I've said August to not Wendy, Sharon, to do this year. I know there's absolutely no way I'm not going to get 100% on peer-to-peer. If I get something else wrong, fine. As long as I get 100%.
Give me something different to do next year.
Give me something to do next year. What the fuck all else do? So, do you got what I mean? So, I just wanted to, what your thoughts were on awards.
I think I've got very varied thoughts on awards, actually, if I'm being really honest. So the Work Buzz ones, of all of them, I think what I really like about them is you can see everything that you've been scored on because it's your franchisees scoring you.
And it's a true one as well.
Yeah, totally. And it's also then directly comparable with all of the other franchise networks. So I think it's really, really good. And I think each year they improve it a little bit and you can see trends and all that kind of stuff, and I really like that. And it's stuff you can act on, like you have done, really, or what you've got to do if you want to fix it. Where I struggle with the other ones, and this would be the same for the bloody Oscars, won't it? And and every other award, but it's where you can't put your finger on why you've either won or you haven't won. And sometimes it just feels like, oh, well, okay, even the explanation. So some of it feels a little bit, it's not cloak and dagger quite, but it's just, I think people who are, the awarding body, and I'm conscious I'm saying this as a franchisor who gives awards out to franchisees, and some of the feedback we've had is, well, it's not really obvious why that person's won. It's like, well, we need to do better at that. So there's a huge bit of communication, I think, that's needed to explain why people have won, and then actually also on an individual basis where you've fallen short. We entered some
awards last year and we still haven't had the feedback. We asked for the feedback of why we didn't get a different position. And we haven't had the feedback. And look, at the end of the day, they're busy. But it would have been nice just to have even 5 bullet points.
Yes.
Do this better, do this better, do this better. And I could have had something to work. And now I'm going to enter again next year. But I've nothing to go off.
Yeah, it's really difficult. It is difficult that. So then you just go, well, okay, I'm just going to have to go with what I think is right, for the business. And actually, I'm not running my business so I win awards.
No.
With the exception of the Work Buzz one, where I do think that's something that we'll absolutely always do that. But the rest of the time it's I think there's some good disciplines in there, but there's a frustration there that is kind of, okay, well, do I really understand? You look at there's no arguing about, if you look at the people who consistently win, and you go, they are very, very well run businesses. And I'm and that's fabulous, but it's like, help us get there then.
Teach us how we'll get there. We're doing better. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up.
All right.
I think we've covered everything I possibly can make. It's been absolutely delightful to get to know you a bit better.
Yeah, likewise.
It's been.
I've really enjoyed that.
Thank
you.
So selfish with that podcast. It's just been literally about me. But thanks for coming, mate.
Well, absolute pleasure. I really mean that.
Thanks, mate.